How can somebody that can't add or has very basic skills, how do they get into Harvard? Why are they there?
President Trump doesn't think much of Harvard or its students. And after the Ivy League school didn't fall in line with Washington's requests, the White House pushed back hard, attempting to end Harvard's ability to enroll international students and stripping away its government funding. Just the latest salvo in the larger White House war against higher learning.
Well, people are very worried.
Entire departments deleted.
The classes are literally being canceled.
Leading to an exodus.
Well, I wonder what it takes to be a doctor in Canada.
And a gold rush for top-tier talent.
And the question is, are we going to take that opportunity or not?
The race is on and the competition is global. Reports from universities and admission centers suggest professors, doctors, engineers, and scientists all rethinking careers and study plans in the United States. Inside this hospital, there's a $30 million effort to get up to 100 of them to consider Canada.
Those could be Americans, they could be Canadians, they could be Europeans.
Dr. Brad Waters is a cancer researcher who's increasingly spending time focused on Canada leads.
There are a large number of people, young, talented scientists, including those in Canada, that are being particularly affected.
A program to recruit the next generation of scientists to the UHN hospitals.
There is a cohort of talent, unlike we've ever seen before, that we can go out and compete for.
Setting thresholds.
Typically, this is where you'd find him, collaborating with scientists, even across borders. But what he's hearing from his American counterparts is dire.
People in positions like mine are closing recruitment opportunities. There's no new faculty, no new postdoctoral research positions. They're thinking about how to make up for shortfalls of $100 million, $200 million each year.
Already, the Canada Leads project, which funds salary and research for 2 years, is having an effect. Talk to me about what your inbox looks like.
Yeah, my inbox is full. We've had over 400 people already raise their hand and say they're interested.
It's asking a lot of them to go back, to engage with the 30s and 40s. Timothy Snyder left his tenured position at Yale to teach at the University of Toronto. Next fall, the 1,730 seats in this lecture hall will be packed for his course on Hitler, Stalin, and the rise of authoritarianism. He says studying history has never been more critical.
The only advantage we have over those Jews in Germany in the 1930s is that we know their history. That's it. We're not smarter, we're not better educated.
Which increasingly means looking outside of the U.S.
Probably, unfortunately, it'll be a lot easier to teach certain subjects here than in the U.S. So, in the U.S., classes are literally, to use a word which is overused, but classes are literally being canceled because they are about race or because they're about gender or they're about the wrong kind of history.
As cutbacks continue, others are looking to follow his lead.
And I was giving a big lecture at the New York Public Library, and it was very old-fashioned. They collected index cards with questions. Some of them were like, well, how can you abandon us for Canada? Which is, completely understandable. And then the other set was like, can we come to Canada?
In fact, in a March survey in Nature magazine, 75% of U.S. scientists who answered said they're considering leaving the States. But competition is fierce. Well, Canada Leads has a budget of $30 million. Europe has earmarked a whopping 500 million euros to recruit the same talent. So, are Canadian universities competitive?
We need to attract the students again. Students from Asia, Europe, and the United States. But what's keeping them away right now is a sense that Canada isn't sure it still wants to attract the best and brightest, and it's made its system very onerous for them to get through.
Gabriel Miller speaks for Canadian universities. He says the federal cap on international students is hurting funding and sends the wrong signals.
For about 18 months, they heard nothing but a message from government in Ottawa that they were trying to reduce the number of people who came here.
He says the Carney government needs to increase funding and smooth over the immigration process.
Nobody understands that we want them to come to Canada. We have jobs.
As for a successful convert to the Canadian campaign, look no further than Dr. Allison Carlton, who uprooted her life to move from Iowa to a place called Winnipeg-Osis.
It's a cute little town, and it is not a disease.
Part of what pushed her to Canada were restrictions in her ability to provide medical services, which have only increased in the U.S.
They can't give transgender care. We used to do that.
Yeah.
They can't help a woman not have a pregnancy that she really doesn't want.
Do you think there's a growing interest or inclination
Oh, yeah.
to?
How could there not be with the people that Trump has put in charge of health, who are vaccine deniers, who don't seem to believe in science?
There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective.
We believe in science. That's what makes doctors doctors.
As Washington's war on Harvard and other centers of learning escalates, experts say Canada has a role to play. I wonder if the importance of institutions like this and others is going to increase now.
Totally, I agree 100%. We have a platform, and you have to lean forward, right? You have to think, okay, how do we become exceptional in this particular moment, right? How do we become like what New York was after the Second World War? How do we become a place which attracts the good people, which means the talented people, but also the people who have something to offer?